One of the most common reasons why people fail to manifest what they desire is because they give up on their new identity during the transition phase. The phase where nothing fully makes sense quite yet, where you're not quite fully your new identity yet, where the external world hasn't caught up to you quite yet, and the old version of you is still fighting for its survival. And if you don't fully understand the stage, you will sabotage the very thing you're trying to create. Because manifestation isn't just about visualizing what you want, it's about becoming the version of yourself that's able to sustain it. And that process will definitely feel uncomfortable before it becomes natural. So if you've been trying to manifest a significant change in your life, but it hasn't quite come to fruition in your physical world yet, there's a really good chance you might be at that threshold of a new reality. And so the million-dollar question becomes, can you continue showing up as the desired future version of yourself before the external world fully confirms it? It's a powerful question. Another one is, on a scale of 1 to 10, how committed am I to being that new version of myself? If you say anything below a 9 or 10, that's pretty much why it hasn't manifested yet. So I want you to do something powerful. Write in the comments below, I fully commit to my new identity, even when the external world hasn't reflected it back to me yet. Ooh, that's a powerful declaration right there. So if you actually wrote that in the comments, congratulations. It is going to be unfolding for you in your life. You see, one of the biggest misconceptions people have about manifestation is that it's supposed to happen instantly. Like one day you visualize something and then the next day it just magically appears. That's just not how it works, actually. There is almost always a gap or a bridge, as Neville Goddard called it, the bridge of incidents. It's a period of time that allows for the unfoldment of that manifestation. It's basically a sequence of events, people, opportunities, circumstances, intuitive nudges, in a lot of cases, setbacks, emotional releases, and 100% of the time, uncomfortable moments that is helping you acclimate to the new version of yourself and your new reality. And most people miss this completely because they're looking for one big, giant, magical moment instead of recognizing that manifestation is unfolding through them long before it unfolds around them. Here's the truth nobody talks about, and it's the real reason people don't manifest. Most people simply cannot sustain the reality that they're asking for because their inner identity still conflicts with it. You say you want success, but success actually feels unsafe. You say you want more abundance and wealth, but your nervous system is rehearsed and conditioned for scarcity, lack, and survival. You say you want love, but deep down you're still carrying fear, abandonment, or rejection. So what happens? You consciously visualize the future, but then you unconsciously show up as the past version of yourself. And because of that, manifestation becomes inconsistent for most people. This is why the identity work matters so much and why I put so much focus on shifting your identity. Because once that up levels, now you start to hold and sustain the new desired reality. Because your external reality can only sustainably rise to the level of your current self-concept. In other words, you could force and try to manifest whatever it is you want, but until it feels natural and familiar and comfortable in your nervous system, not a whole lot will change for you actually. So in order for you to really truly make a shift, you have to get outside of your comfort zone. Because if you still feel comfortable, you're still operating from within your old identity. So you have to get outside of that circle. You've got to start to stretch yourself and feel uncomfortable. And that's how you know that you're going to make a shift. And this is the part that most people misunderstand altogether, is growth feels uncomfortable because your nervous system is acclimating to new territory, to a new level, which means at first, the confidence is going to feel fake. The abundance might feel a bit unrealistic. The visibility of you putting yourself out there might feel a little bit dangerous. Success in general might feel a little bit vulnerable. And the peace and quiet and relief might feel a bit unfamiliar. That's okay, but you want to understand that there's going to be this battle because your body literally wants to pull you back to what's familiar, even if what's familiar hasn't been serving you. And this alone is the reason why most people self-sabotage themselves before their breakthrough. They're afraid to be uncomfortable for that long, and they just fall back into their old familiarity. Because essentially what's happening is your old identity is interpreting the unknown as being unsafe. It doesn't know. It's really just operating from survival mode. And so anything unfamiliar, unknown, it tries to put the brakes on the actions you're taking because it feels like it's unsafe. It feels like it's a threat to its existence. But here's the shift that you need to have. The discomfort's not proof that you're failing. It's proof that you're actually shifting, that you are leveling up. So you want to embrace the uncomfortableness uneasiness, the discomfort. And there's a pretty powerful success saying out there where you want to start to be more comfortable with being uncomfortable. And I've got news for you. The more you embrace that uncomfortableness, the more familiar it becomes. It's just like a thermostat that you're setting. The more you step outside of your comfort zone, the more familiar that becomes, the more natural your growth and progress becomes, until you actually make the shift into the desired version of yourself that you're going after. And then once you do that, now you get to stretch even further and you keep progressing to your next level. And to me, it's like an endless game that you're playing. You're always constantly leveling up. So one of the hardest parts of manifestation is learning the difference between fear and intuition. Fear essentially is trying to keep you safe, and it's saying stay where it's comfortable. Intuition, however, is saying, yeah, this feels uncomfortable, but it also feels important that I work up the courage and do it. It's a more empowering feeling versus a scared, fearful feeling. And at the root, fear contracts your body and intuition expands it. So even though it might feel uncomfortable, you're still expanding and you're moving forward. Whereas when you contract back and you're reluctant to take that action, now that's fear, and it's like your old ego identity taking the reins here. Fear kind of keeps you stuck in these loops over and over again, but intuition ultimately is moving you toward growth and expansion and progression. And oftentimes your next level is going to require new action from you. It's going to require you to have that tough conversation with somebody, to send that message when you were reluctant to before, to record those videos that you should be recording, to start that business endeavor that can help lead you to a new income stream coming in, and to do all these things even when your nervous system is screaming at you, telling you not to. Because ultimately, courage isn't the absence of fear. It's the moving forward and progressing despite it. There's a really cool analogy I heard several years back, and it had to do with you being in the driver's seat of a car. And the idea is when fear has the wheel, it's going to prevent you from going anywhere. So the idea is you need to take the wheel and put fear in the back seat. It can't leave the car altogether. Like the fear is going to go with you, but you can put it in the back seat so that it can't really control the vehicle. You can just drive with it and you can operate alongside it, but it doesn't have to necessarily impact you and put the brakes on your progress. I kind of like that visual because you can be like, yeah, just get in the back seat, fear. We're still doing this with or without you, right? So there's one more area I want to touch on where I've seen most people quit, and it has to do with the time lag. There will always be a delay between the internal change you make and the external evidence in your outer world. It's almost like a gestation period from when the seed gets planted to when it bears fruit. There's this time period between it when your external reality is catching up. And during that gap, your mind might be questioning things, saying things like, maybe it's not working, maybe manifestation isn't real, maybe I'm delusional, maybe nothing's changing or is ever going to change. Right? You might go back to some self-doubt and worry and fear, and that old identity shows up, right? But what if you can get into the idea that reality is actually reorganizing under the surface of things? It's actually unfolding as you speak, and you don't even know, and you couldn't even comprehend in what way it's going to come into your life in reality here. And oftentimes, breakthrough happens right after the breakdown, or right after the moment most people would quit. So if you can get yourself past these ideas, one of the coolest things about manifestation is once you begin to actually shift internally, you'll start to notice strange things happening. There'll be these strange coincidences or synchronicities, or new ideas come out of nowhere, or aligned conversations start happening with other people in your life. Unexpected opportunities start coming to you out of nowhere. Random encounters start occurring. Emotional breakthroughs start happening. You start to think of things from your past and you let go of them, and they're no longer taking up space unconsciously in your mind. And these are not coincidences or even accidents. This is a divine unfoldment and is an important part of the orchestration of getting you to your next level here. Your job isn't to know the how. Your job is to simply remain aligned, to stay open to new possibilities, to listen and pay attention to your intuition, act courageously and challenge your comfort zone, and continue mentally rehearsing and becoming the version of you who already has your desire, even when the external world isn't reflecting it back to you quite yet. Because honestly, the bridge reveals itself one step at a time. So as you start to notice it reveal itself, just keep going. You're not going to know how it's going to happen. Just remain curious and open and thankful and in gratitude, right? That, hey, things are unfolding for me and things are not happening to me. They're happening for me and for my desire. Here's what I've personally realized and experienced in my life. If you can just simply bring yourself to do the thing that you know produces a result and do that consistently and often enough, it will produce the result. So the real question is, what What is preventing you from doing the thing that is going to produce the result for you? Is it fear? Is it doubt? Is it worry? Are you worried about what other people will think of you? Are you worried that you won't be successful? Or are you worried that you're going to fail at it? What is that underlying reason why you're not showing up consistently in the area that you know you should be? So the real challenge here isn't if manifestation works. The real challenge is, can you continue showing up as your future desired self long enough for your nervous system, your identity, and your reality to catch up? That's the real question. Even if it takes several weeks, maybe even several months, are you willing to do that? Are you willing to stay loyal to your new desired identity? That's really the question. And Neville Goddard talks about this. Many of the great spiritual teachers talk about this, staying loyal to that assumption. That's how Neville Goddard would put it. That's the work right there. That's the main battle you're going to face, is can you show up as that version of yourself long before the evidence will show you in your outer world. So right now, you very well might be standing at a threshold between your old version and your new version, kind of in that limbo mode. And the one thing you want to understand, that stage is normal and it's necessary. You have to go past this phase in order to reach your next level. You have to, everybody has to. So know that the discomfort is normal, the uncertainty is normal, the acclamation is normal. All the things you're going to experience are all normal. You're shifting between one version and the next. That's how it works. Because essentially, transformation requires you to become unfamiliar with your old version in order to feel naturally familiar with your new version. So there's going to be a mix up and shake up of things in your life. It's meant to be like that. You got to destroy the old to create the new. That's how it works with everything. Before you can build a new building on a plot of land, you got to demolish the old building, right? This lives everywhere in our life, but it's happening for manifestation and your identity as well. You've got to let go of the old in order to allow the new. That's how it works. So if you can continue to move forward, continue to be aligned, and continue to show up courageously, your outer world will have no other choice but to start to respond to you and reflect it back to you. And not because of magic, but because you finally became someone who could sustain their next level. And that's when your whole life changes. So if this resonated with you, let me know in the comments below what idea that I shared on today's video really resonated with you the most. And what's one area of life that you're looking to level up in? I'd love to hear. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you in the next video.